The month of October has this incredible green energy, which is truly a portal to your heart and your soul. In the month of October, the veil is thin, the wisdom is super deep, and the energy of this month is asking you to reconnect with your soul's purpose, your heart, and with yourself. I've opened up the Akashic Records and tuned into the numerology of the month of October, and there's truly a powerful invitation waiting for you. Let's go there together. Hi guys, my name is Ness. I'm an intuitive and a numerologist, and on this channel we are all about getting to know ourselves and the world around us in the deepest way possible. If you are into spirituality, numerology, Akashic Records, anything intuition, you are in the right place. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below so that you don't miss a new video that comes out. And if you're enjoying this video, make sure you put a thumbs up on it and share it with someone that you feel could really benefit from hearing this. Hey guys, I just want to send you a lot of love for hitting that subscribe button. Now let's dive into the month of October. The collective month of October is truly a month of new beginnings. Because we are in a collective year 9, October representing the number 1, when you add those together, it again brings you to a 10 or a 1. And that right there is truly new beginnings. It's this interesting in-between place of endings, completions, letting go of old expectations, and then this in-between space of beginning to look at something new, something exciting, new beginnings, new ideas. We are in the in-between. And the exciting part about that is it really brings us within. This is a month of deep, healing ourselves. You know, when I opened up the Akashic Records, I saw this beautiful green energy. And to me, green represents your heart chakra. It represents love. It represents self-acceptance. It represents everything that has to do with expansion and love. And this is truly a month where we are going to begin to really accept, love, appreciate ourselves and other people. And when I say other people, I mean we begin to realize how we are all interconnected. You know, we were taught, at least I know I can say for myself, many of us were taught that we are separate from everyone else. We are all, yes, very unique, but in a way we are all connected. And my happiness affects other people around me, right? My self-love or lack thereof affects other people around me. And our energy begins to interact with other people's. And that's sort of the collective energy. In this month, we begin to really open up ourselves to self-acceptance, self-love, self-understanding, which then begins to radiate to the collective because it begins to expand to everyone around us. And this is really a month where we begin to truly open our hearts to love, to the understanding that we are all connected. I don't know, I got this really strong understanding that this is a month where we begin to realize that everything that happens in the collective impacts us directly or indirectly, but it still has an impact on us. And the quickest way to being able to shift a collective consciousness is to shift the consciousness within us. And this is a month where we begin to make that shift through the portal of our heart chakra or our heart in the form of self-love and self-acceptance. And I think that that's really a beautiful message for the month of October, because what the month of October begins to do is it almost foreshadows your next year. So October is this glimpse into the next year's energy, into your next year's energy, into the collective's next year energy. And I believe that this month is going to really bring us to our hearts. It's going to begin to unlock a consciousness inside of us, or an understanding of consciousness within us, in a way that is about love, self-acceptance for ourselves and the collective. And that I truly believe is going to be echoed next year. I think that next year is going to be a huge shift in our understanding of what consciousness is, what spirituality is, and what we as a species of humans need collectively to be happy and be thriving. And I think it's going to force everyone to kind of look within, and it really starts this month, which is really beautiful and exciting. And I know for myself that the more I love and accept myself the way I am and live into who I am in the most authentic way, it begins to reflect and radiate out, where the people around me begin to accept me, love me, and they begin to accept and love themselves even more deeply. And that right there is where the shift in the collective understanding and consciousness will happen. And I think that it's just really exciting that it's beginning to happen. And this is a month that your heart is going to begin to expand. And the key message I got for the first message of the month of October is to not underestimate the power of self-love and self-acceptance. Do not underestimate the power of loving yourself and allowing yourself to be the most authentic version of who you are. Because the more we appreciate who we are and the uniqueness that we are, the vibration that we bring, the energy that we bring, the ideas that we bring, the more we accept it and love it and just truly be who we are unapologetically, it really creates a beautiful ripple effect in the collective energy and consciousness. And that right there is the power of this month. This month is the shift that begins to shift into next year. The second message in our 3 messages that we've got for the month of October is that, and it kind of reflected in my previous message, that this is a month that is going to really begin to shift the collective consciousness. People are going to be, you're going to be, people around you are going to be more open and curious to consciousness, to the idea of the unseen, to the idea of spirituality, and that there is more to life than what is like visible, right? We're going to be aware and more curious about consciousness, about everything around that idea of consciousness, of energy, of intuition, of how we're connected with one another. And like I said, it's really a foreshadow of what 2026 is going to be collectively for us. Because in 2026, I truly believe, at least the message that I'm getting, is that it's going to be a mass awakening for so many people. We are going to awaken to things that we haven't wanted to believe in or understand. We're going to have shifts in consciousness that are going to be swift and big. Kind of like, for instance, I don't think it's going to be the same thing as 2020, but how there was a shift in collective understanding consciousness when COVID happened, right? There was a mass shift in people's views of life, philosophies, ideologies. Like, there was a big shift in consciousness. We're going to have another large shift in consciousness. I think it's going to be the same as COVID, but it's going to be a shift, because that shift in COVID really shifted our minds to something could be different, right? And in the year 2026, it's going to be a year where we begin to understand mysticism, spirituality, people's psychic gifts, intuition, other realms or other dimensions. It's going to be a lot that's going to come at us, I believe, in the year 2026. And this October, this month right now, is really beginning to prime us to be open to those ideas and shifts. And how we begin to be open to those ideas and shifts is really working on ourselves. This is a month where we really dive in deep into who we are truly at a soul level, whether that's through meditation, journaling, energy work like Reiki, yoga, working on your chakras, working on understanding that there are other bits of like consciousness that we can connect into. This is really going to be like the theme of 2026, but it begins in this month where we begin to be open to the idea of these things out of curiosity, right? And when I say open to the idea, it starts with an interest, a curiosity of it, and we begin to do research or looking into it or begin to studying these different things, whether it be astrology, human design, gene keys, numerology, Akashic Records, anything that is understanding more ourselves in a much deeper way. This right here is truly going to be a huge focus of next year, and obviously in the month of October. Because in numerology, the month of October shows you a glimpse into what your next year is going to look like. And I think that that is such a beautiful thing, because when I started doing personally work on myself and understanding myself very deeply, it really unlocked a level of self-love and self-acceptance. I've always appreciated myself. I've always been a very confident person, but I think it really unlocked a level of true acceptance of who I am. And I'm not saying it happened like this, right? It happened over the last 2.5, 3 years, gradual, but it's slowly been happening. And when those true acceptance of who I am, or understanding what I believe my soul's purpose is and what my higher self really wants to help bring to the collective through me, I still have moments of self-doubt and occasionally a little self-sabotage and shadow, if you will, right? Those things that we have been conditioned or programmed in this lifetime and many times in previous lifetimes, that is like a theme that continues to move on. When we begin to uncover and discover ourselves in a truly deep way, we begin to be able to look at these shadows and release them and realize that that is not who I am, that is not what I'm here to do, and truly begin to love and accept ourselves in a really beautiful, deep way. And I really believe that this is what this month of October is about. It's about understanding ourselves in a really deep way through journaling, through meditation, through plant medicine, whatever it is that's calling you. These are all ways to expand your consciousness, your understanding of the world, your understanding of its interconnectedness. When I started studying different modalities or different ideas like numerology, astrology, human design, gene keys, what I found so fascinating, because you start with just yourself, understanding yourself, and maybe the immediate people around you, like your family and things. But when you begin to look at those different things, it's so interesting how they reflect one another. How they're kind of saying the same message, but in a different form. It's almost like you're looking at yourself from all the different angles. Numerology is looking at it this way. It's saying the same things, but it's maybe focused in this direction. Then you have human design saying the same thing, but focusing on this direction. Then you may have astrology saying the same thing, but it's focusing on this direction. Gene keys saying the same thing, focusing on this direction. When you look at all of these things, you bring it together. You get a really beautiful picture of who you are at a soul level, who you've been in the past, in past lifetimes. What are the gifts and talents and themes that are coming into this lifetime? What are your lessons? What are the things you're here to accomplish, achieve, to bring to the collective? Because I do believe that many souls right now that are incarnated on Earth right now are very experienced old souls. I have very seasoned souls. They've lived many lifetimes and have a lot of knowledge within them, within you, that is meant to be shared. And right now is a time where we are beginning to feel an activation, a curiosity, an interest in these different things. And these are the gifts that are going to reawaken your soul's gifts, your soul's purpose, your soul's path. Whether it becomes a career or just a hobby or just something that you share just naturally as you go about your life, we are all beginning to understand that there is a lot more to life than just waking up, going to work, coming home, and doing the basic life, right? Just basic life. We understand that life is part of what we have to do and what we're here to experience, but there is so much more to life than I think what we've been conditioned to believe or what we've been doing. And I do believe that this is a month, the month of October, that is truly going to expand our ideas and our curiosity of what life is all about and what we're here to accomplish, which I think is so beautiful and exciting. And remember, as you begin to awaken to your soul and your soul's purpose, like reawaken to who you are, and you begin to help others reawaken, because people begin to see you become more alive and more yourself, and it like inspires them to become more alive and more themselves. It becomes like this beautiful domino effect that like trickles out into the collective energy. And that is really the shift that's coming for us in the next year that begins to happen this month, the month of October. And the biggest theme that I'm getting for my third message for the month of October is that we need to be open to new beginnings, new ideas, new interests, new discoveries. You know, I believe that there's like new discoveries that are going to begin to show itself in the month of October. As a matter of fact, as I'm saying this, I'm feeling like this like heart chakra kind of like pressure or excitement or energy. I believe that the month of October is going to have an element of surprise and new discovery that's going to awaken us to what we feel like is new, but is really a remembering of the collective consciousness. What is that thing that we're going to discover or realize as a collective? I'm not 100% sure on what that is. I think I know what it is, but it is truly like a technology or like a knowing of information, and it has to do with consciousness. And so I think in that moment when this happens for the collective, it's really going to shift everyone's like ideas in a very swift, fast way, and really open up our hearts to more than what is physically seen. And I think that that's really exciting. We're really in a time of like exciting change in a truly like holistic, collective consciousness, like loving way. I know that's like a bunch of words, but this is kind of like the vibe that I'm getting. It says here that there's new discoveries about the world, about consciousness, about ourselves that we're going to begin to like see in the month of October. So be open to new forms of thought, be open to new ideas, be open to new curiosities, be open to new beginnings, be open to something that is what you're not used to. Just be open to new experiences, because the more open you are and the more you're willing to look at something with fresh eyes, without judgment, with just like, let me just understand what it is that I'm seeing, hearing, understanding, without any version of like criticism or judgment, the more we are going to shift internally, and the more we're going to connect in with our most authentic soul self. And I think that is like really, really exciting. I'm excited to see, what comes to me in this month of October. I'm actually starting a new course where I am diving in deeper to intuition work and like past life understanding. So I'm really excited about that. I also am making a commitment to myself. I meditate at least 2 or 3 times a week, but I'm making a 30-day commitment to myself that in the month of October I want to do a meditation, whether it's 10 minutes or longer, but I want to connect in with my soul, with myself, with my soul team, my higher self on a daily basis. And I really encourage you to do the same. And when we begin to connect in with who we truly are, we have an opportunity to not just shift ourselves, but everything around us. Like I said earlier, it becomes like a wave in the ocean. As one wave, when you start a wave, it just begins to continue to trickle out and expand in this really like big, beautiful way. And so the more we allow ourselves to expand, the more we allow ourselves to understand who we are and accept ourselves in the most loving, understanding way, all of our gifts, all of our flaws, all of our strengths, all of our weaknesses, when we love every aspect of ourselves, we really show others how to love themselves. And the more we love ourselves as a collective, the more love we have to give. And that right there is the shift that's beginning to happen. So I'm excited about it. I hope you guys loved this video. I hope you have a beautiful month of October. Set new intentions, because what happens in October will reflect the next year. And so set beautiful intentions for a most abundant, expansive year. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Hit the thumbs up button and share with someone that you feel might really get something from this. I just want to send you all a ton of love. Thank you for being here. I will see you in the next video.